Today, we're going to take a look at the art of the French painter Henri Rousseau. He was famous for his painting of animals and plants and flowers and the way he used his imagination to make them look interesting. He never got a chance to go to art school, so he taught himself to paint. This is a self-portrait, a picture he painted of himself to show that he was a painter. He painted himself very, very large in comparison with the other things that are in the picture, like the boat or the Eiffel Tower or the people walking by. It was his dream to someday be the most famous and the richest painter in the whole world. Unfortunately, Henri Rousseau did not always have as much time as he wanted to paint. In order to feed his family, he had a job, a very important job, as a customs inspector at the gates of Paris. As people came and as they left, their things were inspected and taxed. On his days off, Henri would take himself on long walks in the countryside to see things that would help him get ideas of what to paint. He once told a friend, "Nothing makes me as happy as looking at nature and painting it." He would get an early start to his days, and he would walk to the countryside to see the cows and the tall trees to get ideas for his paintings. He stood at the edge of the rivers and taught himself how to paint water. Some days he met other people on his outings and he painted them in his pictures. Often, some parts of Rousseau's paintings are not the sizes that you expect. Things that you expect to be small are large, and things you expect to be large are very small. This piece is called Old Junior's Cart. It was a painting that he did for his butcher in order to pay for his food. You can see that there's a tiny person in the cart beside a much larger person. There's a dog under the cart, and then a much, much smaller dog in the bottom right-hand corner. The legs on the horse are much too skinny to carry the big horse or to pull a cart. But the most curious part of this painting is that Rousseau painted himself as the driver. When the butcher asked why, Rousseau replied, "Because I'm a very important person." Henri Rousseau collected many, many beautiful flowers and leaves and parts of plants. He took them home to study and to paint. When he went back to work on Monday morning, he told his co-workers all about the beautiful plants and the shapes of their leaves and the colors of the petals. Well, they liked listening to his stories, but they couldn't really understand his passion. They liked going for walks too, but for them, a leaf was just a leaf and a flower was just a flower. It didn't mean as much to them because they didn't draw like Henri did. One day, Henri Rousseau went to the Botanical Gardens in Paris, where there was a great glass building filled with exotic plants and flowers. He had never seen anything like it. He couldn't believe the smells and the beautiful colors. It overwhelmed him. He sat down and he fell asleep and he began to dream. Henri dreamed that monkeys had joined him in the arboretum and they were playing in the trees and throwing oranges. He also dreamed of a giant tiger that came to join him and scared him as the rains came in the tropical forest. He dreamed of many animals and people and waterfalls in his forest. Henri dreamed of a woman that was sleeping and was being watched over by a very tame lion. So Henri Rousseau went on to paint many, many pictures of animals and plants. He learned to paint animals by looking at pictures in books and by watching the animals in the zoo. Now you know that Henri Rousseau never went to art school. He taught himself how to paint. And did you know that he never even visited a jungle? It was all from his imagination. Today, the work of Henri Rousseau is loved by people around the world. He is very famous and his paintings are worth millions. Even his signature is beautiful.